The Unfiltered by Jade.
Jade.
Welcome to the Unfiltered by Jade, where we get out of the box and dive into topics that are sidelined. I look forward to entertain, educate, and inspire. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, donate, and make everybody know about this.
Beats by RB Records, a proud sponsor of The Unfiltered by Jade.
Shopping Assistance Jamaica takes the stress away. Our services include online and local shopping in Jamaica for individuals and businesses, personal shopping, purchasing of company and office supplies, importing and exporting small packages across Jamaica and worldwide, helping you to find unique gifts and items for all events and occasions. Contact us at 876-919-5195. Shopping Assistance 2015 at gmail.com. Follow Shopping Assistance on Instagram at Shopping Assist JA, at Twitter at Shopping Assist 5, and Facebook at The Shopping Assistance. Shopping Assistance, your style, your budget. Welcome back to the Unfiltered by Jade. Today we have with us April and Michelle, and they are from the podcast Book Eaters podcast. Hi, April and Michelle.
Hi, Jade. It's great talking to you again.
Yes, it is. So, I met these two lovely ladies when we went to a podcast movement. That was the first podcast movement I went to.
Same.
For us too, but we did some moving.
We did move about a little bit. I was proud of us. We talked to at least 5 people.
At least. Yes, at least. I'm normally shy, so I was just sitting there with my husband, trying to figure out how to go about this. But I mean, yeah, we met and it was a great experience.
It was. I don't think I actually did talk to that many people. I got sucked into Jade table, and
That's true.
And spent most of my time there, and then Kimberly joined us.
Yes, from the OK Then podcast. Yes,
and then I was set for the night.
You were done.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
You got what you went there to get, and we're out. Oh my goodness. So we're gonna talk today about books. No, I've never actually spoken about books before.
Really?
No.
Oh, books are the best.
Never. So this is gonna be I'm a virgin at this.
Oh.
Yes. But thank God for you guys who are here to introduce me.
Yeah, we're sluts when it comes to books.
Oh my God.
But we are going to be so gentle with you, okay? We're going to take our time, and we're not going to go any faster than you're ready to go.
That's right. We're all about enthusiastic consent at Book Eaters podcast.
Exactly.
Oh my God. All right, so who came up with the name Book Eaters?
Well, we, Michelle and I both are members of a social club called Lady Geeks of Atlanta, and we were on a event where we had went hiking, and we were talking to our friend Savannah about books that we had been reading, and we are all very voracious readers, and we even talked about that. We're like, you just can't get enough, and you just eat the books. Right. And it's like you're eating the books. And Savannah had that phrase. And then I was like, Michelle, that could be the name of our podcast. We're the Book Eaters. And then I think Michelle, before we actually started using it, wanted to make sure that it was available.
And I Googled it. And to my dismay, it is actually listed in the Urban Dictionary.
Oh, really?
As sort of a dirty thing. I guess Book Eaters is when someone... Oh my gosh, it's been so long, but I think it was when someone uses books to pleasure themselves.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, which we don't do because we have more respect for books than that. But
Right.
I
you know,
never heard about that before.
yeah, if you look it up in Urban Dictionary, that's what it says. And so it
Oh.
was we kind of were like, well, maybe we shouldn't. But then we're like, yeah, whatever. They don't own all of the words.
Yeah, and I'm pretty
True.
sure that anything you can think of probably has a dirty definition in Urban Dictionary.
I
Probably.
agree. I agree.
I
I
Probably.
mean,
agree.
tea bags, you know.
I really,
But
really, really hate that tea is constantly being denigrated in language today. I'm a huge fan of tea, and I am tired of it. Tea party, tea bags, spill the tea. Come on. Where's the tea love? I don't
but
like it.
along with the who is the one that came up with the logo? Because along with the logo, just looking at the logo, it almost has a sensual feeling to it. Looking at that
Oh,
logo.
Oh, that was all Nate, right?
yep. My boyfriend, a graphic designer, did that for us. And
Yes.
he actually has mentioned that he might want to redo it a little bit. You know, he did it when we first started, and I think he probably felt like we were just going to get bored with it and quit doing it after a month or so.
Okay.
And but now that we are progressing and going to podcast movements
That's
and
right. That's right.
being a guest on another podcast, he was like, I might need to make that a little bit more marketable, like easier to put on a T-shirt or something like that.
Okay, okay, understood. I like it. I
I
like
love
it.
it.
I like it too. Did you notice that she has earbuds in?
Yes, yeah,
Because she's
yes.
listening.
Because she's listening to right.
Yeah.
Yes,
So, because we
yes.
knew that there had been a lot of podcasts about books, and I've read books my whole life. Michelle, once she discovered audiobooks, she never went back. And so that's one of the things that Michelle and I discuss in the podcast is the difference between reading, you know, an actual physical copy of a book versus listening to
Versus
it.
Audible.
And we always say, you know, it's the story that matters. So it doesn't matter if it's a book or if it's an audiobook, you know, as long as you are able to enjoy the story, it doesn't matter how you eat it.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yes.
And I feel the same way about TV shows and movies. I think however you consume the book or the story,
Right.
it doesn't matter. It's that you're getting
You're
all of
getting it.
the juicy bits, all the nourishment that it has to offer.
Okay, nice. Well, since we have already started going there, let's talk about what is the Book Eaters podcast about. I mean, we know it's about books, but what is it that you discuss? How do you go about discussing it?
So every episode we try to come up with some sort of like a theme, like a thematic thing that we're going to talk about
Mm-hmm.
on the podcast, and then we find books and stories, or sometimes even authors that represent or can talk to you about those themes as well.
Mm-hmm.
So every episode is a little bit different, and it's not, sometimes we talk about a single book, but rarely. Usually it's about, coming of age stories, or
We had a
um,
librarian on.
about
Yes.
libraries, like, how libraries work.
Yes.
And
Yeah, and a lot. We have a little catchphrase that we use a lot because we do love books and read. I think both of us are always in a constant state of reading.
Okay.
There's always a book that is being consumed, and
Right.
so we naturally talk about books. And so a lot of times we have to say, save it for the podcast. And then we make a little note that we could have an episode about it. So it's basically us just friends talking about books. Sometimes we argue because we are not always in agreement.
Right.
And then we usually have when I say usually, I mean every single time, cocktail to go with it.
Right. Yes.
one time we didn't. It was an alcoholic cocktail.
Oh, that's right.
The romance episode, we had a tea drink.
Yes, we had a guest who does not imbibe, and so out of context for that episode, we had a mocktail that was very much enjoyed.
It was
Nice.
delicious, and it was a pun, and so therefore it gets all
Yeah.
ways.
So for that episode, we usually name the cocktail after what the topic of the episode is about, and in that case, it was romance novels. And I don't know if you are familiar, but romance
Yes, I am.
novels often
Yes.
have very cheesy titles like,
Yes.
How to Marry a Duke, and
Uh-huh.
so in this case it was a very berry forward mocktail, and so it was How to Bury an Earl, and
Ooh.
the
And it had Earl
Earl
Grey in it,
had Earl Grey tea in it. So
That's good.
uh,
That's
and it was
we're
good.
Barrett with a BE.
yeah,
Yeah,
we are so clever, Jade. I mean,
I mean
I can
seriously,
imagine.
like it's just insane how clever. And the more that we drink, the cleverer we become,
oh, so clever. It just keeps growing. I mean,
right?
and that's just an example. I mean,
Can't imagine the things that you guys come up with.
yeah, if you
Oh,
listen to the podcast, I mean,
I
that's
have
just,
actually.
have
oh,
you?
I have. I have listened to. I think I've listened to two of them thus far.
oh.
I have, and you guys went on. So it was about the book. I think it was about a romance book.
Hmm.
So we're dealing with that, and then it got carried away to something else, and then I was like, "Oh, here we go." And you see, because I'm not so familiar with all the books that you guys talk about.
Right. It's definitely a podcast that probably would only be enjoyed by people who love books or love to listen to middle aged women get drunk.
And I mean, the
Yes.
banter was good. The banter alone was good.
And we tend to talk a lot about sci-fi and fantasy books
Yes, yes. I
the
mean,
most.
it was good. I listened to two and they were good. But as I said, and as you're saying, it's probably for people who read a lot or read a lot of those books would
Yes.
probably
Yes,
understand more and get some of the things that you were jesting at or
for
Yes.
talking
sure.
about. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's good. So, what books have inspired you guys the most?
Oh, that's a tough question because all books are inspiring, and then all also, gosh, it's hard to say. April, do you have a book that inspires you?
I have many. I would say, like I said, I started reading when I was very young, and Heidi, the book Heidi, was a huge impact on me. That was I just thought a lovely story, and it took place in the Alps, which was a complete new world from me growing up in rural Georgia,
Mm,
and it was a different time period. And so that was the first time that I just remember thinking, there's whole worlds out there that I can find just by going to the library. And so that really kicked off my love of reading, and I've had so many books since then. I have tried to challenge myself more as I've gotten older.
okay.
Because I definitely have a sort of I gravitate to historical fiction,
Okay.
Mm,
and I remember, just a lot of times you can find reading challenges like, these classic books, this 100 classic novels. And I didn't really struggle with that, but somebody made a comment one time about 100 Years of Solitude. And it's, this beautiful book, but it's not originally published in English, it's in Spanish. And
Hmm.
I can remember thinking, I really don't read from many authors that aren't either American or British. And so I
Okay.
wanted to start reading books that were first published in different languages. And that's sometimes hard because the translation, you're really trusting a lot
Right.
to the translation. And I've read some books where that was done so well. And a recent example would be The Murmur of Bees. I just thought that was just so beautiful and lyrical, but not in I would love to read it in its original Spanish, but
Right.
I don't speak Spanish.
Do such right.
But that has really inspired me to go out and read more because America is not the only country with
Nope.
authors.
No, it's
true. That's true.
And so that was very inspiring for me, and so I definitely want to try to read from different perspectives, different cultures, and I'm excited because that's something kind of new for me.
Michelle.
Yay. I the only thing I can think of, I read The Murmur of Bees, and it did not have that effect on me. It was
Okay.
sort of long
Okay.
and boring. I didn't enjoy it as much as April did. But I
Okay.
also was trying to, expand myself. Doesn't work as well for me because I don't like coming of age stories or like slice of life stories, which is generally the ones that translate best. But
Okay.
I think recently, not recently, like maybe 2 years ago, I read Agnes Gomillions The Record Keeper, and the lead character there is a rule follower, much like myself, and I love that character so much because she sort of comes up against why being a rule follower can be problematic and ways
Okay.
around that. And
Right.
like the way that she thinks about it is kind of the way that I think about it. Like there's a way within the rules to fix it. There's a way within the rules to fix it, but there isn't always a way within the rules to fix it.
Right.
And so it was neat to see that in such a parallel way with such a character that in a lot of ways I would get so mad at her for what she was doing, but I also, sort of felt like I would be the same way. Plus Agnes Chameleon is a delight, and I'm really upset that the next book is not coming out until like December now. I have to
Wow.
wait forever. But
Yeah,
that's cool.
Agnes actually lives here in Atlanta. We had her as a guest on the show.
That's nice.
That was
Yeah,
So
nice.
you guys are doing big things.
You
Having
can
all
say
these
that.
guests.
Oh, you could say that, Jade.
I mean,
You
look
could
at you. You got
definitely
us
say
on.
that.
I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
I'm honored. I'm
We've
honored
had
to
we
have
have
you.
most of our guests are other Lady Geeks of Atlanta, which are
Mm,
our friends.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't think we've had a guest that wasn't somewhat
Eddie.
obligated to.
Oh yeah, Eddie was obligated.
But so it was a real treat to be invited by you, Jade, and I think it might be fun for
It is
me
fun already.
to give you. Well, I'm thinking I might assign you a book.
Oh,
Ooh.
And if you read it, and if you wanted to, you could come onto our podcast and put the
We'll
shoe
talk
on
about
the other
it.
foot. Yeah,
Oh, that
that
would
would
be
be
fun.
exciting.
That,
That's a great idea.
that would be good.
I think so. Yeah,
And
it just came to me.
especially this book about rules.
Yeah.
Oh, The Record
Oh.
Keeper. I think that I mean, it's a great book. You just gotta get past. And I can send you the drink recipe to go with it, so you can have the
You know what we
drink.
should do? What we should do is like send her a 100 questionnaire
Okay.
so that
Well,
we
that's a
can
lot.
so that we can really hone in on what would appeal to Jade. Then we will give her 3 choices, and she can pick of those 3 which one she wants to read, and then we'll build the episode around that.
I mean, it feels like a lot of work for Jade.
That's okay. I'll do it.
Who doesn't like a personality test?
I'm up for it.
I do. We should make a personality quiz for everybody.
That would be good.
Let's do this. It's happening. It's happening. That sounds exciting.
Jade, you want to talk about being inspired? Look what you're creating here.
Personality test.
Yes, I'm just listening. I'm just listening in. I'm good with everything. I'm good with anything. Do you prefer audiobooks or to have the book in hand? I know. Yeah, which one do you prefer?
This is a point of contention between April and I because I love audiobooks the most because audiobooks are the best, and April does not.
Well, we've discussed it. We think it does come down to what kind of learner you are.
Yes.
You know, if I have a choice, I'm always going to want to read the book. And it's fascinating to me, and I've learned through our discussions about audiobooks that because I'm the type of person that if I'm sucked into a book, I am sucked into that book. You could be talking and I don't hear a word that you're saying. I am in that world. And it turns out that Michelle is the same way through an audiobook. And I've never been able, like when I start an audiobook, I have to start the chapter over like 3 times before I really start to absorb it. And then once I'm familiar with the characters and, I start to get kind of sucked in. So I think it just depends on, the type of learner that you are. I think audiobooks have definitely made books more accessible for a variety of reasons, especially like if you have a learning disability and reading is difficult for you, audiobook is going to make that much easier for you to enjoy, books.
Right.
And then for me, even though I still prefer to have the book in hand, I, work full time and I've got a busy schedule, and being able to listen to the book in the car is what keeps me from becoming very depressed at how little I read.
Okay.
I mean, also it keeps us staying in traffic, right? Because Atlanta traffic
that's you, Michelle, because
it's really the worst thing.
Yes, I can agree with that.
You need someone, an audiobook, a narrator's voice to gently guide you through life on the 285 because it's not good.
Michelle has some road radio shoes.
I do, but I'm working through them.
How important is reading? And what exactly does it do for you? Is it like personal therapy? Because some people say they prefer listening to music. I'm a music listener, so I listen to music. That helps me.
Well, I'm a music lover too. You can ask my friends. I have so many playlists for just the right situation.
Have to.
I'm one of those militant music lovers where if I'm trying to play you a song and I don't feel like you're paying enough attention, oh, we got to start the song over. Are you going to pay attention?
You think that she's kidding, but she's not. Like, she's absolutely not kidding.
But and so they both have a purpose. The thing that I love about books, though, is, and it could be because I've lived in Georgia my whole life. If I did not seek it out, I would be surrounded by people and situations that only reinforce what I already know about the world. And so reading takes me out of that, and it does expose me to other voices and other perspectives, and I think that alone makes me just a better human being.
So I think that's true, but I think I'm a little bit more avant-garde, and I think that it's the story that matters. It isn't if the story is told in a song, or if the story is told in a book, or if the story is actually told through an audiobook, or if it's portrayed in a movie or a television show. However you're getting that story, when you hear other people's stories and when you engage with the stories that other people want to tell, then you're engaging with other people and you're learning about them.
Yes.
And also learning about yourself. And so it doesn't have to be the written word. I don't think it does. I mean, some people may say that, but I don't think it has to be the written word. I don't think it has to be even in an audiobook. If you're watching a television show and that television show's story is impacting you by making you laugh even, or forget about your worries for a minute, then it has value. And that you can embrace that value.
Yes.
I agree with that too. That was very well said, Michelle.
Yes, that was well said. So, where can we find you guys?
Oh, we're everywhere, and all of the podcast places. You can find us on Apple
Twitter.
or Google or Audible.
Michelle's in charge of all of that. But I hear tell that we even have an IG. We have the Twitter.
We have an Instagram and a Twitter and a Pinterest. And a Facebook.
Oh, you have? Oh, yes, you do.
Yeah, and a YouTube. Although apparently we're not doing as much with our YouTube as you are. I'm gonna have to study up.
Well, I mean, if you're doing better in other places, that's good too. It doesn't really matter where it's done; it's how it's done.
Oh,
yeah.
We should put that on a T-shirt.
I mean, I like it. There's no reason why we can't have a T-shirt. Unfiltered by Jade, quote at the bottom, the T-shirt.
Oh my goodness. So it was really good having you guys here. I enjoyed the laughter, and I'm looking forward to my book that I'm gonna read.
Okay.
Yes, Part 2.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. And I want to thank you guys for listening to the Unfiltered by Jade. And remember to check out the Book Eaters podcast. We'll be back next week, Tuesday. Thank you. Bam, 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 bam,